on the spot. But to help you, I'm going to admit upfront that this question I'm bringing, I do not know the answer. But I found it interesting when somebody said to me, okay, you know what? I think if I had to give an answer, my answer would probably be in the negative, you know, but the person's opinion, in fact, the person's statement was that when you're working in your passion, you're the role model. You don't need a role model. Okay, scratch that. Maybe that you don't need a role, maybe not that you don't need, you know, but his views are that you're actually the role model. You came prepared, you came packaged for the role that you're coming to play. You were born for that, you were made for that, and life and nature and nurture and the universe and everything you hold dear had been preparing you for that moment when you realize that, man, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to be doing, you know. Hi, okay, thank you for joining. You know, so the person's view is that, look, when your work, well, I guess what they were trying to say, right, and I'm, you know, elaborating on it as I'm talking, I guess what they were trying to say is that you're built for it, you're prepared for it, you know, that all that you have to play that role, you already have it. So you're actually the role model when you're working in your gifting. And you may not necessarily need another role model. Now, I don't fully agree, but I think there's a sense in saying that you're sort of prepared for it. I just want to know, what do you think? And of course, my friends, and again, just to say, if you're just joining us, this is Winifred Unusual and Friends. I hold, this is the first, so you're lucky, number one, lucky to be in the first episode, right, of many more conversations around your passion and breathing your passion and really following and doing what makes your heart sing. And in the coming weeks, I have a lot of interesting friends that I'm going to be bringing, just like Ime, to share with us what their passion is, how they develop the courage to go for it, and how that is going, okay? So back to what I was saying, Ime. So I'd like to hear what your views are regarding, you know, do you think that if you're working in your passion, then you are the role model because you came prepared for it? Or is there room to still have a role model? And then depending on your answer, I want you to let us know in your business, if you have a role model that you're following after, somebody who's holding your hand, and how that is working out.
Well, so for me, especially when you're a business person, you can't work in isolation. Now, I want to speak beyond having a role model. You need to keep yourself up with. So whatever you're going into, whatever industry it is that your passion, where your passion lies, there's definitely competition there. So you can't go in blindly and say, I was made for this, and then you turn a blind eye to competition. You don't keep yourself up to date with trends in the industry. You're going to fall flat on your face. You definitely need to know what's going on around you. And when you speak about having a role model, I think that I have mentioned this like 3 times, talking about having a mentor, talking about a coach. Yes, you definitely want to have, you definitely want to have someone that you can look up to and you can bounce ideas off. And so when you also talk about having a role model, just having the passion to go, wanting to go after your passion isn't just enough, where you motivate yourself and say, you can do this, you can do that. So I've been to business school, but I follow lots of business people on Instagram. I still find myself reading articles about business. I still read a lot of business articles. I also follow not just corporate organizations. I follow a couple of business mentors and coaches. Although I haven't signed up, I would say that I haven't signed up for any one-on-one class. I'm still trying.
Looks like you're okay. Yes, for a little bit. Yes.
Okay. So I was saying that on Instagram, I follow a number of business coaches, both local and international. So I would say that, yes, while you have the confidence, you're really sure that you've got it, but there is value in having a role model that holds your hand, especially, I mean, so no man is an island, and you cannot run a business in isolation. So definitely there must be someone you can defer to for advice and all of that. So for me, I find myself, I have trust circles where I can speak to friends and say, oh, what do you think? I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of going in this direction. What do you think? How do I pitch this to investors and all of that? And so for me, I find that my trust circle gives me the kind of I have enough comfort in my own trust circles for now.
All right.
Thanks.
Did I answer that? Yeah, you did. I mean, it's always interesting to see. And, you know, when the guy told me that, I was taken aback, you know, when he said, you know, if you're working, you are the role model and all that. So you have to, first of all, start thinking of it that way. You were born for this, you were built for this, and you don't need, you know, and all that. So now you've sort of elaborated. While, yes, you came prepared, you have the resilience and the passion to push this through. There's also need, of course, to always keep improving and keep learning and all of that. Hi, friends. If you're joining us, this is WinifredUnusual Friends. Tonight, we're talking about our passion, and I'm not talking about any kind of passion. I'm talking about what you're passionate about and bringing that to birth, and hopefully turning that into your profession or your career or your means of livelihood. Now, I want us to talk money versus passion. Eh? And, you know, before we go into that, I mean, why is it that passion is always the one you have to be patient with? Why does it not start earning from ground zero, from day one? Yet, this is something you love so much, you know, it's burning in your heart. And I tell you, if there's time, because I want to start, you know, bringing this to a close, you know, shortly. I'm saying that because I come from an industry, my new industry, honestly, it's passion driven. It's a lot of, you know, it looks glamorous on the outside, but it's a lot of grueling work, and it takes time. I had invited one of my actor friends this evening, Morgan. If you're there, I don't know if you joined, if you sneaked in and I'm not aware. If you're there, I'd like to bring you on. Morgan is a fantastic actor. He's a voiceover artist. And he works in, you know, in the oil and gas, but he's desperately in love with interpreting stories. And so he does everything around, you know, Nollywood on the side, and hoping to make that transition when the time is convenient, you know. So my question, I guess there are two questions now. Why is it always that it's your passion that you have to patiently work on until it can begin to bring in the money? Why is it not like a regular job that you walk into employment and at the end of the month you get your paycheck and life is beautiful? Why? How come it's passion? Yet that is what we're built for, you know. I want you to think about that. We'll talk about that. But before then, money versus passion, Imix, I'd like to know. You love something, but it's not paying your bills. It's not bringing in what you require, but you're just happy doing it. Is that sustainable? What do you do? How long?
So I think that for our generation, we have a lot of work to do. We have to encourage our children to discover their passion early enough in life and actually support them. So if you grew up in my time, most parents wanted their children to be doctors, to be lawyers. Nobody was talking about their children going into the arts, right? Nobody was encouraging their children to be singers, to be actors and all. And so most of us went to school, studied what the parents wanted. Well, if you ended up not studying what the parents wanted, but the goal then, all of the talk and motivation was to go to school so you can make something out of yourself. There were never any questions about what do you really enjoy doing? What would you like to do with your... I don't know if your parents had those conversations with you. Mine didn't. My father wanted me to be a lawyer. Right. So I think it's a big lesson for us that we definitely need to encourage our children. So where that disconnect is from is because you go to school with the expectation that you come out and whatever you find to do, that is your means of livelihood. And so you quickly go through school, you come out, and you start at a job without actually considering, oh, is this what I really want to do? So I would say that the problem was with the foundation, right? And so later in life, you now start to think, oh, perhaps I could have been a teacher. Perhaps I have a friend who's a medical doctor. Guess what he's doing right now? He's a pilot.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
A medical doctor turned
He's a pilot.
Fully
trained medical doctor, now a pilot, right? And so you see that, I mean, this was someone who was passionate, who definitely had a passion for flying and decided no matter what happens, he was going to pursue that passion. And so it's the way the foundation was set. That's why some of us end up asking those questions late in life to say, oh, am I really enjoying what I'm doing? And while passion might now lead you to start, you may not necessarily end up in a business. So you might have a passion for working with the needy, working with children, you understand? But if your passion is leading you to starting a business, sorry, auntie, whether you are passionate about it or not, you would still go through the rigors, the ups and downs of a new business. So it's not, I'm not sure that, so it's, you would go through the same rigors that anyone, so not everyone who's running a business is passionate about what they're doing. Do you agree? Some people just find themselves running certain businesses somehow and they're just doing it. You don't agree? What do you think?
Okay, before I make my comment, I want to read, I have a comment, something in the comment section that says, I think the harsh reality is that there's a high rate of unemployment, and that is the deciding factor. Your options are limited in an environment where there are few employment opportunities. So, I mean, thank you very much for that contribution. It's saying that, so where there are no opportunities, perhaps this is what pushes people into, I don't know, starting something. Now, is that positively driving entrepreneurship? I don't know the answer. You know, I don't know what to say. If anybody has a comment, I'd like to know. Is that bringing out the strength in us and forcing us to create, or everybody become a creator of something out of nothing? Perhaps that's something. You know, is that forcing people? Is that forcing people to read? Because you know, bringing it to the environment where I live in, and Imix, I know that you live in. I think our education, our curriculum is sort of focused from the get-go. You're tutored, you know, with that employee mentality. There's no entrepreneurship, really spirit, really built from the onset. So the majority, the thinking, the broader thinking is finish school, get a nice job, and I can tell you the 5 industries everybody's going into. Get a nice job, and then that's it, right? But is it also possible to push people into entrepreneurship, in which case everybody is thinking what they like, what they love, what they have a natural flair for, and they're thinking of how to develop and build that into a profitable business that other people can work in. I mean, look at the Dutch. A lot of the businesses we see. I mean, I used to work in a beer company that is a family business, named after the people who started it. And today it's become a big global brand that everybody works with. You know, they're families and organizations and situations like that, where something small can be built into a big enterprise. I think that's a conversation, you know, that, you know, we can keep going. Now, one of my guests, if you're reading, okay, anyone has an invitation to, you know, join us next time. We're having the next session on Winifred and Friends, and talk about, because she raised a very interesting point, you know, something about employment and fewer opportunities, forcing people and all of that. But back to you, Ime, before I went on making all these comments, I like to pick from my audience so they know we see their contributions, we value their contributions. Please keep them coming. This is Winifred Unusual and Friends. I see another comment here. Before I come to you, some people have created businesses without passion. Interesting. Think Igbo traders. Passion may be a luxury a lot of people can't afford. Now, Iroxy, I'm definitely bringing you on. Can you request to be on this video? We have a few minutes left, and I need my audience to hear that. It's interesting. She actually says that, look, passion may be a luxury that a lot of people can't afford. All this thing about this is what I like to do. You leave a well-paying job and wake up and say you want to go and become a pilot or something, you know. Anyway, Iroxy, if you can join us, that would be amazing. Imix, you raised a question before I did that little commentary. You were asking for my opinion on something. Do you remember what you wanted to know?
I think that the last post you just read has answered that. No, the last two posts. First of all, the last one you read said, passion is a luxury some people can't afford. And someone else commented and said, yes, there are people running. No, not this one. The second to the last said, there are people running businesses they are not passionate about.
Okay, so I guess let's even evaluate that. So that's sort of like people who are stuck in jobs they're not motivated to do, they're not excited about, right? Ime? Yeah.
So for some people running that business is a source of livelihood, could be a source of livelihood for them, and they may not necessarily enjoy. So the woman who has a corner shop in a neighborhood, she may have a passion for serving people. She may have a passion for, she likes to sit in her corner shop and people come in, neighbors, they banter and all of that. Or she might just have found herself, the husband says, oh, take this corner shop and let's see what you can make out of it. So it really depends on the circumstance.
You know, in fact, Ime, and thank you so much, all the, the beautiful people who joined us on this first episode of Winifred Unusual and Friends, talking about our passion and how we can make that into our profession where possible. I want to say, I think that the comment from Iroxy actually sort of answers the question, right? She said something about there are people who have, started businesses they're not necessarily passionate about. Now, it doesn't take away the fact that they have something they're passionate about, but they have prioritized their reality over, really going, either they prioritize it for economic reasons or they're really too scared, to make that transition, to go after that. Because the truth is, and maybe next time I'm going to get the indices, many passion businesses have grown to become your profession and really sustain you, become really successful. So to that comment, it doesn't take away the fact that the passion is there, but you're doing A, deep inside, you'd rather be doing B, but hey, you put B aside for now and focus on A for whatever the reasons are. And then there's also something about passion being a luxury that many people can't afford. Now that has a lot of interpretation. Sometimes it's not that you can't afford it, it's that we're too scared, we're so unsure, we're our own worst critics, we're worried about what people say. Now, in saying this, I'm recounting some of the things I went through, some of the things that ran through my mind when I was making my career transition. Well, Winifred, you've always had a successful career in this area. How are you going to explain this change? This makes sense. This other one doesn't make sense. What will, people say? How are you going to, will the new industry accept you? You put in so long. How are you going to quickly scale up and make a mark? All of that. So not necessarily a luxury, but just riddled by our own limitations and inhibitions that we place on ourselves. Thank you very much, Ogoma. Thanks. Oh my God. Thank you all for contributing. Now, this is Winifred Unusual and Friends. What I do here is to bring on friends within my circle, within my network, to talk about passion versus, what do I call it? Really following your dream, following your heart, finding what your heart loves to do and having the boldness to go after it and build it until it becomes something sustainable, and then you lay the path for others. This is the first in the series, and like I said at the beginning, I'm always excited about any first because I think any first is significant, and where I can, I do what I can to dedicate it. So your Lucky you to be part of the first team. My admin team is supposed to help me take note of all the people who joined so we can reach out subsequently. You want to tell me what you'd like us to discuss? You want to tell me who you'd like us to bring on board? I have a lineup of lots of interesting friends like Ime. Thank you for being the first. Lots of interesting friends that I'm going to bring on to contribute. Now, I want to read this comment from Chat with Grace. Passion is great as that keeps the fire burning. Correct, despite the challenges in business. However, other attributes like excellence, consistency, doggedness are really important factors to grow. I like that. Ime, and I'm going to ask you to make a comment on that, but just say thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that comment, Grace. I really like that, especially bringing, let's not think, and it sort of ties into, Ime, what you had said earlier about having a mentor, having a coach, looking at the market indices, what the competition is doing. Bringing your passion to the table is not enough. You still have to work at it. You know, that's what I get from this. It's enough. It starts, and it keeps you for the long haul when things aren't bearing fruits the way you would want. It keeps you going because this is what you love. And Ime, I'd like you to talk on that. Before I do, I just want to say that in my new industry, I tell you, I call it a passion industry. Everything around it is tough. You know, from regulation to, I mean, I just worked on a production. It's a tedious process from finding a relevant story globally now, because we're looking beyond here, to making the story, to the commercials of selling the story, infusing, making sure you get a good blend of entertainment and the economics right? What keeps you, the turnaround time is not so quick. You have to wait until it's, you know, the full circle is gone. And I'm just trying to keep it very light. But you find people going back and going back and going back to do it again. I recall when we were ending the last movie set, all of us were already asking, when are we going on to the next one? It's passion that keeps you going. So that's what passion does for you. It helps you go through the difficult times, and you have the resilience to wait it out until it's, you know, it bursts. So I'd like you to chip in a few more comments on that. And I'd like, you know, everybody here to live with a hunger. So I need you to wake up, make that wake up call, a hunger to really go and search. I shared a little assignment earlier on. If you're just joining us, it's quick and easy. Can you ask yourself what you really love to do? What would you be doing if money wasn't an issue? What opportunities, you know, are often thrown at you, either when you're working on a group project and your friends say, hey, Miss B, you handle this aspect. You handle that. Somehow people know, because people can tell, you know, what you're good at. What opportunities come your way? What do you naturally gravitate towards? You volunteer yourself for those sorts of opportunities or challenges. You know, what would you like to do, even if you were not going to be paid for it? In a group project, you're happy to say, okay, I'll volunteer to do this. The chances are your passion is somewhere in the midst of all that. Now, you may come up with a list of 2, 3, 4, 5 things. That's great, you know, but put it down. And over time, as you begin to work it, you will narrow down to the one that truly makes your heart sing. And then you begin to think of how you can convert it to value, because this is about finding your passion and making it work for you, right? So that you're working in your gifting, in your area of gifting, or in your passion. So if you do that and have that ready, perhaps the next time we have our Winifred and Friends conversation, you'll have something to share. So Ime, back to you. You're the speaker. That last comment, I really like that. Can you share a few words on that?
Thank you, Cheta, for that. Cheta is an excellent and seasoned banker. So I'm not surprised at the comment which she shared. And so this would also, you would recall when you spoke about the comment from your friend who said, if it's your passion, you've got this, just go for it. You don't need anyone and all of that. No. So I think, so while you pursue your passion, you must be sure. One word I picked out of Cheta's comment was excellence. I picked that word, excellence. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why comments, comments suddenly stopped
She
coming
said
up
something about
on my screen.
consistent
So
doggedness, you know.
yes, definitely. So for you to pursue your passion, if it's going to take you into the business
Yes.
environment, then you definitely need to. We talked about keeping up with trends. We talked about being aware of who your competitors are and what your competitors are offering. You must keep an eye on your finances. I mean, you're not just going to say, oh, it's my passion. You must know what is the cost. What does it cost you to run this business? Are you breaking even? Are your revenue, is it enough to offset your cost? Or are you running at a loss? Right. You must also improve yourself, not just for technical skills, also soft skills. Like I said earlier on, I mean, even on Instagram, you see some posts. I know that there's this saying about the customer, but at the end of the day, the customer is always right. And so you see certain vendors saying, oh, please don't come and ask me why I cannot. If the customer asks you for a discount, an unreasonable discount, you will likely say, no, I can't give you that discount. There's no need to come and throw shade on Instagram and say, oh, those people that will come and ask for. I don't know if you've come across such posts. So for
I hope I don't.
you hope you don't. I mean, so you see people, you see vendors throwing shades at customers, and you're like, really? And you're trying to sell your business. And so people need to be aware of all of these things. Passion is not just enough. You must ensure that you arm yourself with the necessary soft skills. I worked in customer service for many years. So communication for me comes effortlessly. And so there's going to be a delay with the customer's order. Immediately, I send the customer a message. Immediately, and communication saves us a lot of headache. Right. I send the customer a message immediately saying, this is what has happened. There's going to be a delay, and we should reach you at so and so time. And I apologize. You understand? No need. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where the vendor says, I've dispatched it, or it's coming. Then by the time the dispatch rider gets to you, says, they only just gave me the item 10 minutes ago to put to you. Meanwhile, the vendor had been posting you for hours. And so integrity, all of those things Cheta had mentioned, doggedness, excellence, integrity, all of these things, if you find that your passion is in the business environment, you must ensure that you're not just turning a blind eye to all of these other factors, because they are important for you to start to earn from your passion. We're talking about money. So if you want to make money, you want to acquire customers. You can only make money when you have customers anyway. If you're churning out your passion, you love to bake. Every day you're churning out pies, churning out cakes, and nobody's buying. To what end is it? It doesn't, then at the end of the day, it's not profitable to you, and you end up back to your miserable self anyway. That's what I think.
Back to your miserable self. God forbid that we do. So in a nutshell, passion is a business, right? You've said, from you, a lot of the comments from the floor. Thank you all so much. I picked a few things. Passion is a process. It's not an overnight thing. It's a start. You probably, and if you've just joined us, you may want to just take down these points, these notes as you do your refresher. You probably already have it in you. It's in your history, in your DNA, somewhere around you. You just need to dig deep to find it. Now, when you find it, you bring your passion to the table, right? But it's not enough to take you there. So excellence, consistency, persistence, doggedness, and all of that keep you going while you're working at it. We also touched on it's a business. The fact that it's something you're passionate about doesn't mean yes, so I love to do this. It reminds me of those people that you meet at interviews and would you like? So what do you want to do for us? Anything. Because they're desperate, they think that it conveys their seriousness and their emotional connection to the opportunity available. But that's actually a red alarm already. Anything. You know, so the fact that, oh, I like this, oh, I'm passionate about this is not enough. You have to work it, but it's a great start. I'm trying to sort of pull out all the lessons from what we've shared so far. So, okay, so this is it. I think it's been an amazing, thank you. With all our imperfection, network issues, we've spoken, Ime, you've spoken from your heart. Thank you, everybody who joined us. And I'm still going to ask you, please drop for me in the comment section. I asked that at the start. What are you? I want you to leave with that awareness. I don't want you to leave without answering that question. If you can answer that, what are you passionate about? What do you like to do? Put that in the comment section. Perhaps I might be able to find somebody who shares your passion, hook you up with the person, and you can start, you know, just well be on your way to starting that out, to birthing it, even if it's just on the side, even if it's just to feed that excitement, that curiosity. I would like to know, what do you like to do? What would you like to do if money was not an issue? What do people think you're great at? What opportunities are thrown at you all the time? I'm repeating this. If you can answer right now, please do. I'm curious to know. I got an input from Mabel about cooking. And if my admin team got her details down, I'll be getting in touch with her. Now, there's one more thing, and if it goes off while we're, thank you so much. Thank you, Mabel. I just want to know, what is how do you define passion?
How do you define passion? Okay, I think that was the first question. Well, you asked me to differentiate
So that was
between
passion and
passion
purpose, yes, but I just said in a nutshell, parting
okay.
words, you know.
Okay, so passion is about our feelings. Passion is about our emotions, those things that generate good feelings in us, I would say. And so you're passionate. I'd used this example earlier on. You're passionate about cooking. You walk into a beautiful kitchen and immediately you're thinking of what to whip out of that kitchen and all. You're passionate about education. You see a child who's hawking on the streets, who should be in school, and immediately you feel some sort of sadness that this child is on the streets as opposed to the child being in school at the time. And so passion is what gives color to our individual lives. Without our individual passions, life would be so boring. So there's something, each and every week, we all have different passions. There are things that somehow, and sometimes I think we had mentioned earlier that sometimes passions may have been born out of experiences, childhood experiences and all of that without us even knowing, right?
Great. Thank you, Oge. Oge says that's a great definition of passion. Great. The contributions are coming in now. Can I please ask my friends behind the scenes to take down these comments? I'd like to get in touch with these people. Somebody loves gardening, proactive, like to create and add value. Fantastic. Thank you, Oge, for that great definition of passion. All right. Thank you, friends. It's been a beautiful time. I've learned from you all from the comment section. Ime, thank you for, spending your time and sharing from your heart. We wish the Fisherman Shop all the best. And you're on Instagram. You're on Instagram as the Fisherman Shop, right?
Yes, the Fisherman Shop.
So friends, please follow her page, like her page, support her passion, give her a few words of encouragement, start, stop, continue, what she can do, what she can stop, and have a passionate weekend.